yeah. It's my opinion. Yeah. It's my opinion. Okay. Yeah. It's mine, but you don't have What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining another episode of Just My Opinion. Just so you know, this is our 10th episode. We made it. So far, we got 10. And we got a lot more coming up. So thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Brian, Greg, Lorenzo here. Just don't forget, subscribe, like, share, follow, and hey, keep watching. Comment, throw anything you want to throw in there. You want us to talk about something? Let us know. Which I got a topic that they let us know. Well, we're going to talk about that later. But I'm not going to take a lot of time. We got a special guest with us today. You won't see her in camera, but you're going to hear her. So we're going to have like a little interview. We're going to have some questions and we're going to answer them. So welcome, Steffi, to our podcast. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself pretty quick?
Yeah. So my name's Steffi McCourt. I actually met Coach right because I brought my kids here for him to discipline them and teach them how to fight. And I have been writing for Metro Parent for a couple years. So I told them about your podcast. Granted, I only listened to a couple of them, and you were talking about bullying and parenting and what it means to be a dad in 2024. So
not easy.
Yeah. So my editor thought that this would be a great feature story. So that's why I'm here today.
Awesome. And we're grateful to have you here.
Yeah.
So I know you got some questions. So hey, I'll let you.
Help us. She's a smart one.
I'll let you take over for a little bit and just throw the question. Tell us who you want to answer first or something. So I normally look at him first, and he like, don't look at me.
Hey, no, you just got through talking to my wife. You go start there. I got plenty. Yeah. You just got through talking to my wife. That's not fair.
Wow.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So tell me how you guys got together and how this all started.
It was so I know we started talking about like things that I was doing on social media. Mm-hmm. And what I remember, he brought it up one day. He's like, "Hey, B, like I have like an idea. I know Sam showed me some of your videos on Instagram and stuff like that." And then we start gathering ideas in between us. And then I met him here as well at the gym. So, but after that, how do you all started? Like, because I don't remember the exact day. I know it all started with one conversation one day. And then we just happened to just keep talking about it. And then one day it's like, what do we need? And then just order the stuff and
honestly,
we got it rolling.
The person who should take the credit for this and has no clue that she started his aunt. So,
really?
Yeah.
That I didn't even know.
So he didn't even know this.
Nah,
so his
not
aunt
at all.
was like, I was saying something one day and she was like, "Coach, you should be on the radio. You should write this stuff down. You should do this." And then later on, I was like, "What?" And then I started talking to Lorenzo about it. I was like, "You know what? I think we should just do something like this." And then at the same time Lorenzo and I started talking about it, I seen his Instagram and I was like, Brian already doing something like this. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I think Brian can be on board with us. And then him and I started talking. Then another guy comes in and was like, "Coach, you should be on the radio. You should just do a podcast. You should do something. People need to hear what you're thinking." And he was standing there and he was like,
and it was like a new person every week after that. We
really?
took like 4 weeks before we actually got it off the ground. And every week somebody different was saying, "You need to be on the podcast. You need to,
And I finally just said, "Lorenzo, let's do this." And then we called him and he said, "All right, let's do it."
Okay.
Next thing you know.
And it just happened.
And we just clicked.
I didn't even know that he's the one who started the whole thing. All I remember from my end is he kept mentioning it to me. Mm-hmm. So and then one day I was like, okay, once they got like better idea, I was like, okay, this is what we need.
Yeah.
And he told me, then we started talking. I said, hey, this is what we need. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's go to order. Bop, 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 boom. Then we started. One day I showed up. I was like, okay, when can we start? Tomorrow, this day? And then we took it from there.
Yeah.
So, Auntie, the credit goes all to you.
Nice.
There you go. We got to get her one episode here.
Yeah, I'll see if she down for it. She probably.
Yeah, we got to ask her. Yeah, we got to ask her. But
she like to talk, so.
Yeah, well, now I'm curious. Now I want to know, right?
Yeah, I want to meet her
Yeah,
too.
we're going to have to get her on.
So does your auntie come to the gym?
She was.
Okay.
She recently opened up an event space, so that started to suck up her time, but she will be back soon eventually.
She's a boxer.
Not necessarily a boxer. She actually started coming as like one of my clients. She was just doing like a boxing fit class that I was running like 3 days a week. So she just came in, did some strength and conditioning. And of course, coach, he usually be leaving at that time, but once them two got to talking, you had one talker and another talker. And then next thing you know,
Yeah.
We're EF Hutton.
She like to talk too.
We're EF Hutton.
The class
When
is
we
supposed to
speak-
start at 11, and it usually don't start till 11:45 with
I
them.
know. Yeah.
With them conversations.
You know it is, right? You know it is. Yeah.
All right. So all three of you, obviously you, Coach Schreit, are at the gym when this idea was born, really.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay. And all of you are boxers.
In some form.
Yeah.
Some form. How are you how are you connected to the boxing world? Can each of you talk about that a little bit?
You go first.
I'm the trainer. I mean, I've done boxing my whole adult life, out of the Krong Gym in Detroit. And I used to think that, after I won the title, I used to think, oh, see, I knew God put me on this planet to be a boxer. I knew it. I knew that's what I was. And then later on, after I retired, I started training people, training the kids and adults, and seeing all of the weight loss we've done. And then my kids came along, and then I realized, oh, God just used boxing to let me do what I'm supposed to do, to be a good dad and to help people when they're struggling, not just with weight, just with mental issues, with just sometimes you just need to get away and hit something. That was me. So I know for sure that boxing was like the vessel for me to get to where God needed me to be. And that was a good dad, good husband, and to be a trainer, man. That's what I'm here for. That's what I was here for. And I met these guys through that. And this is living proof. This is living proof. Boxing has led to all of this. Led to me meeting him, And I've been blessed.
Oh, we're gonna go online. Okay.
Yeah.
No, so I always loved boxing. Since I was a little kid, we used to go together on my grandma's house actually, and she ordered a pay-per-view, and all the Puerto Ricans were gonna fight and stuff like that. They always put the pay-per-view. So since a kid, I liked it. My parents didn't love it, obviously, for obvious reasons. So, but when I started like doing amateur, thank God my mom and my dad don't speak English. So I did it behind the scenes because they didn't want me to do it. At that time they were Christians, so they didn't want no violence. But I like to fight, so I had to get it out at some point somehow. And I love boxing, so I had like an a person just kind of like getting me under his wing and whatever. So he would let me borrow some equipment because we didn't have no money to pay for stuff. So when I was in starting high school, I would just go to the gyms and go to the events on the weekends, and then we'll do the fights and stuff there. But then I came here, I stopped for medical reasons. So I got married, I got a kid, I got a job, I got all this stuff. So I moved here, and because I had to stop boxing, I gained weight. So I started working out on one of the places for boxing clubs. And then I met him, and he saw me, and so he asked me, hey, do you box and stuff like that? And I said, yeah, I used to box or whatever. So I said, well, I would like to get back into it. So then I started training with him, and then I became a trainer. I started getting into boxing again. And here I am. I've been, working out with him, doing boxing with him as well, and then teaching other people, which I think at the end, that was my purpose at the end. There's several reasons why I couldn't get back into fully amateur. God knows why. But now I get to show that to people and help people with that. People that do this because it helps with the mental health. It helps with just getting something out there. So they got their mind occupied. So in different reasons, but yeah, that's how we met. That was like almost 9 years ago, almost 8 years. Yeah, 8 years.
Wow.
So he was your coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then his boss. Then his boss. Then his coach.
Yeah. We
now,
started that.
Now partners.
Awesome.
Oh wait, let's clear this up. Partners in this. Just Partners means something totally different today.
Yeah.
We just
I know.
clear this up.
He said that so smooth.
Yeah. We had to make sure we clear that up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we don't want Brent to see.
Right.
We don't want Brent to see
Say it
this
again.
episode. And like,
Podcast
hey,
partners.
Yes.
people that don't know.
She's smart. She
Yeah.
came with, we're podcast partners.
That's right.
there you go.
Okay. With me, I've always been a fitness enthusiast. So
Mhm.
I've bounced from like different avenues of fitness, just trying different things. It's just like a thrill that I always had. Boxing was just one of those things that came up. Everybody say boxing is the hardest sport, and I like a challenge. I mean, I've always been a fan of the sport, but never actually thought about trying it. I don't know why.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I said I'm gonna take the challenge and jumped into it and end up figuring out that it was something that was great for the mental, and also just I don't know, just finding peace throughout the day. I know it's a violent sport, but for some reason, I don't know, violence is peaceful to men and maybe women too that do the sport. But other than that, that's what drew me in. And then I ended up linking up with this legendary coach right here. And like I said, when I first met him and I took his title boxing class, he basically eliminated everybody else from the gym because I was like, I ain't doing nobody else class with his. And eventually it led me finding his actual boxing gym, which he didn't tell me about. And now I'm here. And now this is it's a daily staple for me. If I don't get this, I'm cranky. This is how I decompress throughout the week.
But more than violence though, it's an art though, because you there's so much more to boxing than just punching. Like your whole body gotta be in the same I mean I do music, so in the same chord. So it can like when you play guitar, if you have the same chord, it sounds pretty. The same thing in boxing. When you start learning how to put everything together, it's just so beautiful.
And I'll tell you this, man. And that's why my kids do it in the summer. It's boxing is just like it just helps with discipline. It's one of the best things. I wish I did it when I was a kid. It's one of the best things for kids because it helps them in every sport they want to play, and it helps them just settle down at night. And one thing about a boxing coach, you respect him all right off the bat. You don't know what he knows. You have no clue, and you don't know when he's gonna come unglued. So kids respect him, and then they look up to him like, he did this. Wow. And they want to become their coach. And not only do they want to become their coach, they want to make their coach proud. Fighting in school, don't make their coach proud. You know what I mean? Hearing about bad grades, don't make their coach proud. So I think boxing is good for every kid out there, man. And I'm blessed to be here to do it, to keep giving back. Boxing's given me so much, and I love giving back. Love giving back.
What was the transition like for you to go from fighting professionally to teaching?
I knew you were going to ask that question. I just knew that. I knew that.
It has to come. I mean,
so one day I'm on the bag and I'm hitting, and I said, I need this amount of money in the bank when I'm done. And all of a sudden, I got hit with a good shot in my last fight. And I never used to get hit with shots. I had my wife, my mother, they are not used to see me get hit like that. And I got hit with a good shot. And then I heard them in the back, and I grabbed the guy, turned him around. I was like, I'm good. I'm okay. And then, but the look on their face. And so I'm on the bag, and I'm like, okay. So then my accountant called me. He was like, Greg, you just hit a lick. You're there. So what do I have? He told me the number. And I was like, okay. Same time I'm thinking this is my last fight, I'm done. He calls. And I've always said, God will let me know when it's time to be done. Walked over to my trainer, I tapped him on the leg, and I said, hey, baby. I said, I'm done. And I got in the back. He said, you're done for the day? I'm like, nah. I said, baby, I'm done. I said, I don't have it anymore. I said, these young kids, this is their game. It's time for me to get out of here. So he's like, done, baby? Yeah. He said, pat me on the leg, and he said, we had a good run, didn't we? I said, yeah, we did. I go in the back and ball. Just let it all out. I couldn't even stand. I was shaking because I knew it was it.
Mhm.
I walked out of the gym that day. I knew I wasn't coming back as a fighter. And then I started training other people. And after about 4 or 5 months, 6 months, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I'm good.
Mhm.
I'm good at this. Maybe this was my calling. And then I realized that was the vessel. Boxing was the vessel for me to do my calling. And I'm here and I'm okay with it. I never want to get hit again. Ever. Never,
But
ever
don't miss that
want to get
part.
hit again. The training that we're doing something now just to improve ourselves,
Mhm.
training for the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks. 8 weeks.
Yeah, around 8 weeks.
I almost died this
Something like
morning.
that.
I almost had a stroke.
Mm.
I was, because I jumped rope and I was,
Mm.
ooh, Lord, 3 minutes is not what it used to be.
No.
3 minutes is a long time.
So like 9 rounds already.
So it was a transition, but it was a transition that I'm so happy that God gave me
Mhm.
that wisdom to know when the time came, and I
Mhm.
didn't overstay my welcome. I'm happy, and nothing's easy. Transition from working,
Mhm.
on a job for 30 years, and then
Especially when you love something, it's not that
Mhm.
easy to let go
Yeah.
at that time.
you
Like
work
when
in a job, and then one day,
once you realize you gotta let go, it's like
Mhm.
it's not easy.
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
love,
And
when you
I had
love
to let
that, it's
go.
not that easy.
I had to let go, but being a dad kind of trumps it. Kind of trumps it,
Mhm.
man. Being a dad just trumps it all.
Yeah.
Trumps it all. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about your families? All of you are dads here, so.
hmm You got this one.
Oh, I got this one. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, what can I say? I mean, I've been a dad for almost 10 years now.
Mhm.
Now I got 2. It's beautiful at the same time. It's scary.
Mm.
Because we're in different times, man. Like when you start realizing that, like you as me as a human, I don't love the direction the world is going. I don't love all the craziness that you see around. This new generation, including my generation, they don't know limits these days. They just do anything for a like, anything for a follow, anything for a view, anything for just go viral for 5 minutes. And it's scary because like, okay, I can teach my kids all this, but like how much of power that makes you doubt as a father is like how much of a power my influence is gonna have over all these other things that got more time to get to him. Because I only got this amount of hours. This is there frequently, 24/7. 24/7. But it is amazing still because teach you to be a little bit more disciplined, teach you what love really is, because you love them unconditionally. Like I love my kids unconditionally. Like but at the same time help me structure myself a little bit more. And discover parts and areas of me that I didn't freaking know. Like for things I watch movies sometimes
Right,
now,
right.
I start crying. I was
Yeah,
like, I was like, why am I crying? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do this no more.
Oh.
I was watching the last movie I watched about a kid, like they grab a kid and they were trying to traffic the kid or whatever. It was like Halle Berry that did the movie.
Oh yeah. Halle Berry's movie.
Bro, I couldn't watch it.
Mhm.
I got
awful.
I got anxiety up to the
Yeah.
roof. I got stress. I'm like, I can do this.
Mhm.
I don't want to watch this. And I was starting to be a father. That was my first kid. I was like, man, I
Kidnapped.
I used to be fine with these movies. I can do it no more.
So that's rough, huh?
Oh yeah, I know, man. Like that's crazy.
So before we get back to you, I have to ask you,
Yeah.
because you talked about how your parents did not want you to fight.
Yes.
Box. So how do you feel about your kids? Would you teach your kids or have your
That I
kids
mean,
coach?
I'm more open in that area. Once because I already experienced it.
Mhm.
2 because I already know the big one ain't gonna do it.
Mhm.
And three, I just gotta watch out for the little one. But like, if they tell me one day they want to do it,
Mhm.
I'll be there and I will let them try. Because I was told no. You know what? I still find out a way to do it. It don't matter. So you know what? I already know the sport. I'm still in here somehow. So why in the hell am I gonna give you my back and not support you and just let's figure it out. Let's see if this is something or not that I'm not gonna love it. I'm not gonna love it because nobody wanna watch their kids get hit or whatever. But you know, either way, if I say no, they're gonna find out a way. I did it, so
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm a part of a family of 4. I've been married since 2016, but I consider it longer than that because we've been together since 2009. Amazing woman, probably one of the most amazing women that I ever met. Beautiful family. We have 2 children, one that's 6, one that's 1.5. The youngest is a boy, oldest is a daughter. That's my princess. Of course, anybody that got a young daughter or daughter in general, you know, if it's your first, that's your princess. My son, he an animal, but like I said, I want him to go ahead and grow into who he gonna be. You know, be his own man. Having a family is an experience. It's got its challenges and it's got its moments, but I will say it's the most beautiful thing you could possibly experience in life if you're willing to commit to it and be the best version of yourself. As far as my outlook on it or being a dad, I think being a dad is just being somebody that's there to give them the knowledge that you have or that you accumulated through experiences, and then allowing them to shape themselves based off that foundation. So my approach is always to be open and be willing to listen to what they feel like their needs are, and also at the same time give them feedback from the things that I may experience to help them kind of pivot out of the direction of making mistakes that I've made. Because I feel like life is going to challenge you regardless. You're going to make mistakes, you're going to go through things. But I feel like to be the best version of yourself, you got to be willing to have more than one teacher. So to the question you asked him about boxing, if I feel like my kids, regardless, when they hit that age, I feel like they need to learn something, even if it's not boxing. I mean, I prefer they do take up some type of combat sport, but hopefully when they get to that point, they do have that confidence to attack fear and not let it prevent them from exploring things. That's the life that I kind of lived as far as me growing up, especially when I got out on my own. I tried a lot of different things. I could probably write a movie about my life is like Forrest Gump. I didn't try to like a million different things as far as like careers and living places and venturing and out. And I kind of want them to take that same path. Let life come to you. And then when you get those moments, you just got to jump on them and be willing to be ready when that experience come your way. So if they do want to do boxing, cool. If they don't, then that's cool too. But be willing to look for great people that can influence you and motivate you, like the great coach right here. And I've been blessed to be in the presence of a lot of great people. So when I came into this gym
in a minute
and met this guy, that was just another person to add to that list. Like I feel like God hasn't missed yet. He's always lined up great mentor people because I didn't grow with a father. So when I do get in the presence of somebody that's motivating, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Don't ask me anything right now.
Okay.
Thank you,
Well,
Whoa.
I understand that because I've been a teacher for 20 years and I've got 3 boys. And when I brought them into this gym, you know, when you see a good teacher, like you can just feel it. He's got the systems in place. And he's a confidence builder. What do you think? Like, what's the recipe? What do you think it is that makes a great teacher? Like, when you just know somebody's a great coach or a great teacher, what is it?
I think it's energy. I think we all got energy that we can share, whether it's good energy or bad energy. But those who have a sense of awareness and can harness that good energy, because when you meet people, that's what you're exchanging.
Yeah.
The way you approach somebody, the way you say things to somebody, the way you cater to somebody's needs, that's an energy exchange. And the energy they give back to you is determined based off what you give them. And I feel like a great teacher is somebody that can give energy that's motivating, uplifting, or inspiring. And it doesn't have to be anything special. You don't have to do nothing grand or elaborate. It's just a matter of how you present yourself and how you help somebody shape themselves. So I feel like a great teacher is somebody that's there to mold a person into an individual and not, into a collective. Everybody's great individually in their own way.
So responsive to each person who comes in here.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think so. I personally I separate teacher from coach, right? At least from my perspective, and this is just my opinion on it. Because teacher, you're gonna have those people that teach you that, like he said, got that energy, got that that heart, that you know what, I'm gonna teach you. I got the experience. I went through this. I'm gonna teach you like how to try to avoid it in different ways, so you don't fail where I fail. And you can avoid these type of things. But coaches, we're normally in the people corners, no matter what. Like when you coach somebody, they're gonna be there, like regardless. So maybe I don't know what the hell to tell you right now. Maybe I don't know what to teach you right now. But shit, I'm here. I'm in your corner. Say, you got hit. Did it hurt? Okay, you need a few seconds. Then we're gonna stand up. What are we gonna do? We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. We're gonna figure it out. So when you got that type of people right next to you, that makes a big difference. And for example, like I normally don't share a lot of like my issues and whatever, but the times that I have come to him, he's been a coach. He's been in my corner. It's like, okay, B, I don't like that. I don't like what you did there. I don't like this or that. If I were you, I would have done this, but guess what? What happened? What are we gonna do now? Why don't we try this? Why don't you try this? So like he being in my corner,
Right.
like he already teach me something. I didn't put it in practice, but then now it's a coaching time. Okay, now I'm gonna be here. Now I'm gonna be in your corner. Like you didn't hear me when I was screaming at you this and when I was telling you this, but now that you didn't do it,
Yeah.
we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
So you need that in your life. So you got that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Coach.
damn. Yes. Woo.
So where does this come from? Do you remember great coaches or great teachers? Are you pulling from that or?
Oh, Walt. First, my dad. Dad was, if you're gonna be a ditch digger, be the best ditch digger you can be. Make sure when you're done digging the ditch, people come and ask you how'd you do it so well. And then I got with Walt, one of the meanest man I've ever been around. This man was meaner than a junkyard dog on crack.
Wow.
That's what I was to say.
And
Mean.
and I'm telling you, him and I had a bond like you wouldn't believe. And I'm telling you, when I say how we became this close, my family loved him. He was so mean, he told me to get out of the gym one day. And he told me if I wanted to stay, then find another trainer. Because I have to be so book smart, I have to be one of the dumbest sons he ever trained. Those exact words, loud across the whole gym. And then the next day, I mean, I left the gym crying. Now I'm champion already. I mean, this is not a young kid. This is, I'm champion already, and I'm in the back crying. I'm 30 years old. And the next day I get back to the gym, and he comes up to me and he's putting my gloves on. I was about to spar, and I'm thinking, whoever I'm sparring, I'm cracking. I'm killing. This is it. He's hey, you didn't box bad yesterday. He said, but what you didn't do, he said, you didn't do what I was asking you to do. He said, now I'm old and I'm cranky. He said, but I was asking you to do one thing, you didn't do it. He said, if you're not going to trust me, then I don't need to be in your corner. Because if you don't trust me, that means you're going to do your way and you're going to get yourself hurt. So in the same process of just ripping me a new one the day before, he came back and nurtured me the next day and let me know that he's getting old and cranky. He handled things differently than he normally would have. But the bottom line short, it still was right what he was saying. I didn't do what he asked me to do. So it was a way he said it that day to make me never forget it. And then the next day, he reminded me that he's in my corner. And so right now, I get on, I can I can rip new ones. You know what I mean? I can get on them.
Mhm.
But then later on, I go and talk to them.
Mhm.
So I rip them a new one, get their attention, and then after it sinks in,
Mhm.
I go and nurture, build them back up again. Like let them know this is. I won't ask you to do anything you're not capable of doing. But that's how I coach. And that's the same you ask about, our families, and they were telling you about theirs. And one of the biggest things about me is when he was talking about movies, I can't watch a father and a son hug. I'm done.
Mm.
As soon as they hug, it's over. The movie is over for me. I'm bawling. Father and son, and once they embrace, I'm done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap for me. Even in here, my son was in here, and he's as tall as I am. He was tired. He just came, didn't care who was around. He just came, put his head on Daddy's shoulder, and it was just like, that's my dog. That's my man. That's my man.
Yeah.
I got blessed with having this good family, man. The wife just supports me in everything I do.
Mhm.
My kids pick on me for everything I do. But it's like teaching him how to fish. Now he fishes better than I do.
Mhm.
My daughter, I scare her. Now she scares me. So you know what it is.
They go to
So-
internet
I
and
had a daughter in
practice.
class.
Like,
I don't know
So-
about that.
so-
how to get it
So
better than that.
I tie the way I am with my kids and what I expect from a coach and a teacher for my kids. And I try to bring that to me teaching and coaching my people.
Mm.
My kids, I coach and teach a little differently than I do my adults, but my adults were kids at one time too.
Mhm.
So the bottom line to it, if they're doing this, there's some kids still in them. You know what I mean? There's some kids still in them. And I try my best to bring it out in them and make them feel like they can accomplish absolutely anything they put their mind to. Because I know for a fact, my trainer was right when he said this. It is impossible to keep doing the same thing over and over without getting better.
Mm.
Without getting better. So if the fact you keep doing it, you may never become great at it, but you will become better. So
Mm.
don't give up.
So.
I'm not crying and damn.
Yeah, you almost took me out with you.
Man. I couldn't even look over at them. That's why I didn't look over. If I'd looked over there, I'd have been done. I'd have had to take a 5.
Does this happen a lot? Does he?
Once in a while,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
He
Coach.
cried one or twice during the podcast
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
We only got 10 episodes, so
I am the emotional one. I am
Can't
the
wait for
emotional
20.
one.
Yeah.
That's the asshole.
Oh no.
Yeah. I'm the emotional one. That's the asshole. And he just tried to keep peace. He just tried to direct traffic.
that's why I'm in the middle.
directs traffic.
Something right here. It's like, let me take it over.
Mhm.
Crying already too much, and okay, you're done. Let me take it over here.
Mm.
So coaching, is it easier than parenting? Do they listen to you like you're?
Honestly, I think they're like the only difference between coaching and parenting. Coaching, you get to send them home. You get to,
Yeah, I
and
was gonna say, well.
parenting, you got to go home to them.
Right.
But I think when you're coaching kids,
Mm-hmm.
it's no different than parenting kids,
Mm-hmm.
because when I go home, the kids trust me to do the best for them.
Mm-hmm.
When parents drop their kids off to me, they trust me to do what's best for their kids. So either way you look at it, someone is trusting you.
Mm.
Someone's trusting you in some way. And yes, kids are going to be kids.
Mhm.
Your kids at home are going to only do what you allow.
Mm.
They're only going to do what you allow. And the kids here, they have to get to know you to know what you would allow.
Mm.
And I have no problem, but I will never say anything to a kid that I wouldn't say in the front of their parent.
Mm.
And if they don't like it, take your kid home.
Mm.
The reason why your kid is here is because your kid needs exactly what I'm giving.
Yeah. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think that the kid will only do what the parents allow?
Yep.
I think, yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And especially because a lot of times we get kids here not just kids, we get grown-ups, adults here that they're used to being a little wild out there, and then you have to like implement like that respect and that discipline here. Is like, hey, like you got to bring it down 5 notches here. Like, whoop, this is like it's not what we do here. And then you gotta like teach them again. So it's really similar to parenting, because sometimes, and like we have talked before, your kids will try you and see if you allow it or not. So the difference is that these people have to know if you allow it or not. So once you teach them, like, no, I don't allow it, and they learn that, then they either respect it or, hey, take it home. So and there's a big difference. Is like he was saying, like the big difference is that you send them home, your kids, you just have them there.
Let's give a prime example. I go out of town on vacation. Gym's still open. My other trainer's doing. I come back, I hear horror stories.
Yeah.
I come back, I don't see anything of what they were telling me when I was out of town. Because kids know who they can get away with certain things with, and they know who they can't. When I'm here, they know better. Sometimes they'll ask me a question, and I'm talking to someone, and I just ignore them. First of all, say excuse me. Or just wait until I'm done. Or they'll ask me the same thing over and over again after I've told them 12 times. I just ignore them. Figure it out. If I don't give them a chance to figure it out on their own, and they always can come back and ask me, then guess what? They'll never, ever figure it out. Figure it out. You know, we had, I'm not calling any names, but I think you know them. Situation where,
My kid.
wanted to hit, wanted, boxing, but there was no gloves, no boots. How you gonna do it? Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna remind you to bring your stuff. You got to figure it out. He never forgot him again. You know what I'm saying? Never forgot him again. He just knows that if you're gonna be a mechanic, you have to have your tool. So sometimes kids just got to figure it out, and they have to know who they can try and who is probably not a good idea. Just not a good idea to try that guy.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree with that too.
You gotta let the brain develop at some point. Somehow you gotta help.
And coddling is not the way.
Yeah. So otherwise, they're not gonna get smarter in life, because life is like that. Once you get independent and stuff like that, there's a lot of times you gotta just stand up by yourself and you're like, oh, I gotta figure this out, because this situation just came in. I cannot call mom. I cannot call dad. This other person I already know they're going through something. So okay, this one is on my own. Like I gotta figure something out. But if I never had that situation before, where I have to figure things out on my own, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle bad, because you don't have that habit. I was trying to figure it out. So your brain is just gonna lock in there, and then you're gonna lose it.
But what he said was, your kids will only do what you allow them to do. So how do you then offer them that space to mess up, like, and trust you enough to come when they have messed up? If they see you as this authoritative figure.
I think that's the harder part. For us, as not just as parents, but also as coaches and as people, is like, and you learn with the experience, of course, right? Because sometimes you took it too far, and you're like, oof, I should have learned when should I have stop and step in, and when could I have let it go a little bit. And it's also our job to get to know our people too, right? How they are, what they're going through. Because sometimes you get people here, for example, me, I'm gonna talk about me. Sometimes I will get people here that I already know they have some situations going on. So I already know they're not in that mental space right there. So I will normally let them figure out some stuff on their own a little bit longer. But if I already know what's going on, I will step in a little bit faster, or a little bit, I'll cuddle them a little bit in that moment, just because I already know what's going on. But they already know once they're back to normal, you're supposed to be disciplined enough to know what our routine is and what you should be doing, what you should bring in here. I already give you the instructions. So you're supposed to, like, if you were going to forget, I already told you 3 times. So you should have wrote it down. So that type of things. But it's the hard part for me. The harder part for me is just to learn where's that line, that fine line where they don't see me as somebody like, I don't want to go to him because he's gonna be like an asshole or there. So, but I have learned that it comes with experience. You
Mhm.
know,
Yeah.
when you get that feedback also from other people, it's like, hey, like you're kind of coming off a little bit too rough. Like,
Mhm.
you know, I think also feedback from people help
Yeah.
and experience. Of course, I'm not as experienced as him.
Oh.
I'm just
Mhm.
beginning. So I'm assuming experience was a big.
I
part
want to
for
hear
you,
how
right?
Lorenzo answer this one.
Yeah.
For me, I think is, and it could be for other people like that too. But I think it's natural.
Mm.
Like I'm observant. So I mean, I can't speak for a lot of other kids because I'm not a fan of watching other people's kids like that. But at least for my 6-year-old,
Mhm.
I like to watch how she carries herself in different environments. Some environments she more shy, some environments she more comfortable. So I observe it, and based off what we either talked about or what I think she should do, I let her handle it herself, and then we sit and we talk about it afterwards. Or if it's something that's happening in the midst of it, like say she don't say thank you for something,
Mhm.
we go to the side and I ask her like, why you ain't say thank you? And
Mhm.
I let her explain her reason instead of jumping on her and saying, you supposed to do this, you supposed to do that. And then I tell her why she should do it. So when she is in that situation again next time, she can recall what we talked about the last time
Mhm.
and she can apply it, the best way she possibly can. And I feel like it doesn't affect that approach doesn't affect her coming to me about problems. Because when she still got something that's going on, she
Mhm.
still comes, she still feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Even if it's something she might get in trouble with. The whole thing is I just don't want her to lie out of
Mhm.
fear.
Yeah.
So I'd rather we sit and talk. Experience it. Let me watch you while you're not paying attention. And then let's talk about it. I want to know why you did that. Because the more they talk, the more they can help you get to the bottom of whatever the root issue is. If it is an issue. And I feel like at least for me, that's been the best approach that I could possibly take at the moment. Because I'm here as far as like experience and knowledge. And I gotta remember she's still here.
Right.
A lot of that development is still happening.
Mhm.
So I gotta let her experience and make her own opinions on certain things.
Yeah. Where did that come from?
Uh Probably because a lot of the stuff that I learned on my own.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't have my pops when I grew up. I got them now, but we didn't start like talking like that till I was like 19, 20. So at that point I already didn't went through what I was gonna go through growing up.
Mm.
But I had to do a lot of learning on my own. And that kind of just developed me into a person that's just been very observant. I'm very analytical.
Mhm.
So since I'm like that with myself, it's easier for me to be like that with people. If I walk in the room, I'm observing the room in the first 5 minutes while actively doing whatever it is that I got to do, and I'm good at doing both.
Mhm.
And then when it comes to how I move around certain people, I have a plan in place already, and it can change the more I get to know somebody. But I think that's what helps me be a problem solver. I feel like I'm a great problem solver.
Yeah.
That's what I do in my field. I'm cameraman, but
Yeah.
when I'm on set, I'm solving problems. That
Yeah.
keeps the bills being paid. They like he
Mhm.
saw that problem. He might not be this dude, but he gonna fix it.
Yeah.
So that's how I just like to be. I'm patient with myself, or I try to be patient with myself. So if I can't do that with somebody else, then how am I gonna continuously be the person I feel like I developed into? So if you can reflect on your own self, I feel like it's easier for you to I guess reflect or open up to other people as far as them expressing themselves. So
Is
Damn, I
that
feel like I need to get baptized after that one.
was
I mean,
good.
that was right on point. No, I didn't answer it yet. Ask me the same question again. Please ask me the same question
The
again.
same question, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we're moving on.
he helped
I
you
don't know if we
out.
want to keep talking about this. I feel like that was a mic drop moment.
Oh, it kind of was too. It's like I mean, because my kids, we have lanes. in my house.
Mm.
The adult lane,
Mhm.
the kids lane,
Yep.
and then it's that childish lane. If you're doing something childish, it's a look. Hey, really?
Are you talking about when your daughter looks at you?
Kind of like that. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
You're 13 years old. You're 14 years old. Really?
Mhm.
Then you have kids lane. When they do things that kids are gonna do. I'm not the one that say my kids in middle school don't cuss. Yep, my kids probably cuss. Okay, my kids, they'll do things it's in that kid lane that I have to like tell mama, it's not something I wouldn't have done. It's not something you didn't do. We may have not got caught, but it's not something we do. So that's the kids lane. And I want them to know that, and when they're in the kids lane, I kind of do the dad thing like, boy, got caught, didn't you? Yeah, you probably shouldn't have got caught doing that one, you know? Yeah. Hey, sweetie, you know the problem. And she's like, well, you know the problem, right? Because you entertained it. You entertained it. You just walk away. That's the problem. It's kid problem. I don't, and when they get in trouble, my kids know what to try and what not to try. In other words, and then the adult lane. You get caught smoking a cigarette, I'm dropping you where you're staying. I'm not doing all this talking to you. They take you to the side and talk to you. That's what Lorenzo doing. You get caught smoking, I'm dropping you in your throat. Yeah. It's no adult lane. You disrespect, talk back to an adult, I'm gonna kick your butt. If you know you're not old enough to pay bills, you don't pay bills. You don't deserve to talk to an adult the way you talk to your friends. If an adult do something to you other than put their hands on you, you come and find another adult and let an adult handle it with an adult. If I go to the adult and you're talking back to the adult, I won't believe anything you say. Shut up, have a Coke and a smile, find an adult. You don't pay enough bills to talk to an adult that way. Now, if you disrespect daddy, I'm gonna hurt you. No questions asked. That's an adult lane. You steal, you get hurt. You get what I'm saying? Those are adult things. Those are things that you know better. You shouldn't have tried. So that's it's. I'm not taking them to a side when they stole something. I'm gonna stick my foot in their ass because they shouldn't have stolen. They know better.
You're not hurting your kids. I know your family, Coach.
You.
He doesn't hurt his
If
children.
my kid, you know why? Because my kids don't steal.
Boundaries.
Because my kids don't steal. My kids don't trust me enough to try to steal.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So there's kids lane. Now they'll try me kids lane. They do all the time.
Of course.
Kids lane, they'll try me. But they have lane.
Right.
Childish, just kids.
Yeah.
Kids lane, you know, disrespectful. You talk to any of my kids. You talk to one of them and pull them aside and say, have you ever disrespected your daddy? They would eyes go, no. Because they know what would happen.
Right.
I will not hurt my kids.
Right.
My kids will never, ever disrespect me.
Well, I think
My kids will never, ever, ever steal. Because if it happens,
but your kids do respect you because
got
we've
to.
talked about. So
Yeah.
I had your daughter in English class for a little while.
Yes.
And I brought up to the class that her daddy was a famous boxer. And you know how she wasn't embarrassed at all. She was so proud.
That's
And
my rugrat.
yeah. And maybe part of it has to do with the fact that you do have these boundaries and that you are responsive, just like you are when you coach. You're meeting them where they are.
You have to establish them as a parent.
Right.
Establish them. Establish which lane you stay in. Never get in the adult lane until you're an adult. And by the time you become an adult, you will know exactly what not to do.
Right.
But stealing, lying, disrespect, that's in the adult lane. Yeah, you better not touch that.
Yep.
You see, so we have lanes as parents.
Mhm.
We have lanes as parents, you know? I can tell you this. If someone came to me and said, your son stole, I will go to bat for him and say he didn't do it.
Mhm.
My daughter,
Mhm.
bat, because I trust them with everything in me.
Mhm.
They come to me and tell me, your son cussed. What'd he say? You know, what'd he say? What'd he
What
say?
was the word?
Did he use the word correctly?
He did it on purpose on you, or he just like said it like?
So yeah. So it's lanes, and I just think that don't ever not give your kids lanes. If your kids don't have lanes, then guess what? They don't know that they cross one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I want to bring this back to boxing. Lorenzo, it was your first day sparring, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what are the parallels between parenting and sparring? You said that you want your kids to participate in a combat sport, what is it about a combat sport? What is it about fighting that is similar to parenting?
I think it's the pressure. Like, no matter how much you think you prepped, that first time jumping in there, everything goes no. It's almost like if you get in a situation and you got your fight or flight signals kicking in, you're gonna pick one of the two. But a lot of people not used to that. You know, a lot of people, you know, you avoid conflict. And conflict is natural. It can be healthy if you feel comfortable engaging in it the right way. So I feel like if it's any controlled environment where you can get into a conflict and you can learn how to apply yourself to it without losing yourself, it's something you should do. Because I think that's life, regardless. Whether you want to succeed at something, when it get hard, the pressure kick in. You got to be able to adjust to that conflict. If you're in danger and you got to protect your family, you got to be able to adjust to that conflict. Because you don't get a second chance. I mean, you might, depending on the situation, but at that moment, you are the decision maker. And I think a lot of people don't push themselves towards being the best version of themselves because they hit that wall and they just sit there. So I feel like combat sport is one thing. Like if you can get in a ring and be comfortable with somebody throwing punches or kicks at you, what else is it to be afraid of outside of somebody with a weapon in the streets? But you conquer that, you conquer anything.
Yeah.
If you don't feel confident asking your boss for a raise, you be like, I sparred yesterday. Come on, it can't be worse than that. Can't be harder than that.
And it's called the sweet science.
Yeah.
Boxing is called the sweet science. And there's a lot of pressures. All of us have been in the ring. And it's just like being a kid, man. You're gonna go out there and there's gonna be some things, peer pressure. You know what I mean? You're gonna want to throw a right hand, but you know it's not the perfect time to do it. Okay, I better jab this time. You know, peer pressure get on you like, oh, maybe I better not. You know, and once you get in that ring and you know you can handle yourself, and you know you don't have to feel bad about saying no because you're not worried about the consequences. It's just like sparring. You get in there and you battling out with someone. And then you go out in the street, you have to tell your friend, nah, I'm not doing that. You're not worried about the consequences because you know you can handle it. You don't mind saying no. I can handle it. I'm in the ring. I'm in the gym. I no.
Yeah.
I'm going home. You're not worrying about your friend speaking on you, bullying you because you can handle it. You can handle it. Because when it all boils down to it, don't catch a two-piece. You see what I'm saying? And I know George, he don't have a problem with giving you a two-piece and a biscuit.
No, I agree with that too.
Yeah. You know,
one, two.
Two-piece, you know, two-piece.
Yeah.
And don't let him add the biscuit.
No, but he was spot on with that because like that's another thing. Like he said, you find clarity, and then you just not at that point you get to decide which conflict is the right one for you because at that point you like, okay, I done did this. I know which lane is best for me. I know what I can conquer. Because now you're not under the weight of a lot of different decisions that you have no answer for. You didn't experience things.
I think to recap what they also have been saying, control. I believe everybody that have the first sparring session or whatever, you kind of lose control. Like he was saying, everything go to shit. Like because you don't listen. You are just throwing. You are letting the adrenaline take over. You want to take that anxiety out, that stress out. And he can be screaming. Whatever the hell they want. You are not listening. You're not controlling that part. But you start learning. You start gaining that experience. And then you learn how to control it.
Harness it.
And then when you go out, you learn to control yourself. It's like, is this the right time to do this? You have a different type of control and mentality when you're out and you face something that really bothers you. You're like, you know what? This is not the right moment. This is not the right time to throw a 1-2 piece. I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna walk away from this. It's not worth it. But like before I even start doing boxing, I would get in a lot of fights outside of school. I wouldn't do it at school because first of all, for respect to my parents, they will kick my ass. So I didn't want that 1-2 piece at home.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do it at school. But outside of school, I would wait for you outside of school. So because I used to walk all the time out of my school to my school, and when I got out, I used to walk at home. So I got all the time in the world to wait for you, baby. I can wait for you. So I used to lose control. But once I started doing boxing, it teach me how to control myself because not every time I end up in the best situation because I didn't know how to control it. I didn't know how to listen. So
discipline.
So interesting.
Boxing brought so much discipline in my life. I'd be dead. I believe if boxing was a part of my life, I'd be dead or 400 pounds, one or the other. But either way, I was leading to death.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. I was 300 pounds when I got here.
Mm.
Over 300 when I got here. I lost 135 pounds when I started boxing. I would have been dead or in jail if it wasn't for boxing. I had a temper that was nuts. It was in Kronk. Gerald McClellan, one of the very best boxers I've ever seen in my life. Milton McCroy, one of the best fighters ever. We all got into street fights, me and him. You know why? Because I had a big mouth. I was disrespecting the people who Gerald was more on my level, so he wasn't there when Kronk was being like Kronk was making a name for himself, like the guy who was here when you were here, Tommy Hearns. Those are the guys that paved the way. Milton McCroy was one of that crew. And when I disrespected him, it wasn't that I disrespected him, but I said things that I shouldn't have said. And I know it now being older. I'm like, and now him and I are like this. We are so tight. And I don't ever talk about it. But he was right and I was wrong. And I don't know if he'll ever watch this, but if he ever watched this, I apologize from the bottom of my heart for this.
And I will take it.
Because you were one of the best, my friend. You are one of the best. And I just had to grow up to learn that. Really did. So boxing changed me. Or everything I am to boxing. And the people who I was around. The family. Kronk Gym of Detroit. Just can't say anymore about what boxing's done for me.
And that's why when he was bringing it on the beginning, that's why I changed the word violence for art. It is so much more than just that. Because, for example, I draw for as a hobby, and when you're drawing something, you have to have so much control over that pencil, over that line. You gotta be so careful. You gotta think about it. You gotta visualize that before you even do it. And life is like that a lot, and boxing teaches you that a lot as well. You gotta visualize what's gonna happen if you throw this, and what if I don't control myself? What's gonna happen? But at the same time, you gotta control your mind and start listening to the corner. Your corner's telling you something because they're seeing something you are not seeing. So they're your eyes, they're your vision. They're seeing things that you are not seeing right now because you're focused on these. But I am the visualizer for you. I'm telling you what's gonna happen before you even do it or before it even happens. So it's on me as a fighter in there to listen. And sometimes in life, we got people telling us that and we shut them down because we just focus on this situation. And then we don't control that. We don't control that part. So boxing it's a beautiful thing.
Metaphor for parenting.
Yeah.
Get your kid in the ring, and
I use it a lot in
parents
life.
in it.
I use it a lot in life. Boxing is like life for me. It's life because you get hit sometimes with things that you don't see in the ring. Because guess what? When you get out of here, there are things that hit you. You don't see them coming either. What you do after that? Who do you got in your corner? What's the game plan? So that type of things, you learn that in here. You put them in practice in life. They take you a long way.
So I think basically what he's saying, no matter if it's in the ring, in the gym, or in life, if you have a good corner, you're probably gonna make it.
Yep.
And these kids, their corner is their parent. You got a good corner, you got a good chance of making it. You got a good chance of bobbing and weaving when you're supposed to, throwing the 1-2 when you're supposed to. And we're not talking about punches here. We're not talking about slipping. We're talking about life, period. Get a good corner. Surround yourself with a good corner. And man, anything is possible. Anything is possible. That's what I think I get out of boxing, and I relate boxing to a lot of things because, man, with a good corner, you can do anything. Now, I'm not talking about boxing. I'm talking about life, period. Surround yourself with good people. Get you a good corner, and don't listen to everyone. listen to someone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But thank you guys so
No,
much.
thanks
Thank
to
you.
you. Thanks to you. Thank you for the
Well,
questions.
that was the whole episode right there. honestly.
Yeah, no, yeah. This,
Hey,
this was
hey,
awesome.
We want to see you. We want.
Okay. And that was great.
Yeah,
That was
it was.
that was awesome, honestly. That it went through a whole different direction. Great questions, great answer, guys. We were just talking. You got the star there. You showcase there.
I would tell anyone if you haven't heard any of our podcasts yet, any of them, this is the one to listen to
Mhm.
because Lorenzo came out of his shell. He came out. He aced
Great
it.
answers.
It's the way he answered some of these questions. You need to listen to. I don't care if you listening to it or actually watching us on YouTube or putting it in your car, putting it on and driving to work with you. You need to hear this, parents. And we want you to know that we do not rehearse. We do not hear the questions before we get on air. We want you to know this is raw answers straight from the heart. We don't plan it. We don't write it down. This is not scripted at all. This is true us. And so what you heard from Lorenzo today was just true him and true his own opinion. What you heard from Brian was his own opinion. What you heard from me, my own opinion on the fly, not scripted.
100%.
No practice. We didn't know about the questions. All we knew is that we were gonna have a little interview that she was gonna come in today, but like I was a different question that I was expecting. At least from my end, I wasn't expecting those type of
I didn't
questions.
know what
So
to expect.
I know. So yeah. So hey, I think we did great. I think we can call it of an episode.
Great
guys,
way to cap it out at 10.
10, right.
Yes.
That 10th episode was special. This 10th episode was special.
Yes, definitely. That I cannot wait for 10 more.
Steffi McCourt, we thank you, man. That was awesome what you
most
did.
definitely.
Yes,
you pulled
we
off
appreciate her
Yes.
coming here. Great questions. We look forward for more. But with this, we're gonna close out our 10th episode. Everybody, keep waiting for our next episode. We're gonna keep talking about a few things. I know I got a few things on my Instagram that you guys asked me. Don't worry, I'm gonna bring them up on our next episode. This one was a special one. If you haven't heard one of our previous episodes, make sure you tune in, subscribe, follow, share, like, and hey, this was just our opinion. You take care, everybody.
Peace.
All the stupid shit you mentioned. Let me get back to the curves and you should start paying.